How's it going? My name is Josh. And who is Josh? That's the purpose of this video. Well, I'm just a kid from Brooklyn. My background is I grew up reading books. I started reading books at the age of 6. And I started writing my own little short stories at the age of 10 to 12. And you think, hey, you start writing young. You must have been good in school and you competed in challenges that involve storytelling, like the Storytelling Club. Well, they denied me, so I was a mathlete. But I proved them wrong because I won a poetry contest at the age of 16 and was published at the ripe age of 16. And I went to school, like all of you guys, and in college. I'm a published poet. I love reading and writing. Did I go for an English major? No, I actually went into computer science. But it's okay because I still wrote a little through high school. But once I hit college, I stopped writing. Why? Because parties and stuff. I was living in the college experience. But while in college, I started my own business of fixing computers and then was hired by a company to fix it for more than I was making. But then guess what? Another company hired me to fix phones for even more money, so I did that. But then 2008 happened. And my mother lost her job, so I had to pick up the slack at home, and I decided to put more hours into working. So I was going to school full-time and working full-time. But since I was doing overtime, I dropped out of college. And it was great. I was making good money. But guess what happens? Life hits you and they cut overtime because of lack of hours. And then I started writing again. I had chapters written, these great ideas. But guess what happened next? I turned 21. And I stopped writing to spend my free time on other endeavors. You know what that is. But fast forward to 2013, 24 years old. And I have no job again. And guess what? I'm like, I need to get a job. Let me not work on my craft, but let me actually work security. And since it's not paying me as much as my other job, let me put in more hours to make more money than I was making before. And I was putting in 80 hours a week. And I hated that job. Security wasn't for me. So I did what anybody else would do and find another job. And I started doing that part-time. I worked part-time in a small business. While still working my 80 hours in security, I was working up to 124 hours in a week. I killed myself. But it's all right, because after a month, I said, you know what? I'm quitting this security job, and I'm working full-time in a small business. And every day, to and from work to that small business, I commuted 5 hours. 5 hours each day. And then 2017 was the year, and I had to walk away from that job because my father became disabled. And by him becoming disabled, commuting 5 hours a day wasn't something possible because if something happened, it would take me 2.5 hours to get home. And no. So I just walked away, left on good terms, and I decided to work on my own. And I started doing odd jobs here and there, construction, doing some paperwork for another business owner. I did a lot of odd jobs, but I actually published my first novel that year because I was closer at home taking care of him. And then I took a job at a company that was 20 minutes walk from my house. And in 2018, last year in May, I was hit by a washing machine. And that put me out of commission. I've been injured for over a year. So that's who I am. That's my employment, my background. But what does it have to do with me, this channel? What am I trying to accomplish? Well, I just want to tell people my experiences so that they learn from them. That's it. I have stories to tell. I've done a lot in these few years I've lived, and you can learn from it. So you might ask yourself, hey, you went to school for computer science. You worked in cell phones, computers, for a small business. Why aren't you doing something tech related? Even though I love tech, it's my second love. My first love will always be reading and writing. So that's why my channel is called Books by Josh. My site is booksbyjosh.com because I love writing. So what makes me special? Why should you listen to this guy? I'm not special at all. Trust me. I'm just here to tell you, if I can achieve my goals, so can you. I just want to tell my story to anyone who has an open ear to listen. Other than what I mentioned earlier, I have experienced many different things throughout my life. I've done network marketing. I've had one-on-one talks with former CEOs of big companies and high-ranking personnel. I've met a professor of astrophysics at Columbia University. I've met many talented people through all walks of life. And I've been through a couple life or death situations. So you might be asking yourself, what kind of content do you produce? I have a YouTube channel. I have a podcast, a blog, which I have no ads. I don't run ads on my site because I don't believe in charging for my knowledge, because my knowledge is basically common sense, just retold in my own way, with my verbiage. I also write books, fiction, and nonfiction. And that's how I make my money, through my book writing. So there's no hidden trick. Oh, my podcast is sponsored. No, it's sponsored by myself. I sponsor all my own stuff because I want to remain in control of my creative outposts. So what kind of topics do I touch on in my various work? In writing, I write, like my videos are writing on how I write, writing tips. I do book reviews, book recommendations. I do business advice, what I learned from managing a small business. I even talk about entrepreneurship, tales from running my own company, because I do have a company which produces all this content and does a couple other things in the background. Lessons learned from books, friends who own businesses and family who own businesses. Money advice, what I learned from those who earned a bunch of money outside of their traditional job, because you don't only make money from work, you make it from other outposts. You make it from your side hustle, from investments. And I've learned that from successful people and also unsuccessful people, what they did and didn't do. I also talk about philosophy. I also do vlogs and personal updates. And that's basically who Josh is and the books by Josh Brand. Thank you for watching it all the way through. This was a long video. It's a long video because I didn't want to hide anything. I want to be transparent. And if you stick around for the ride, you'll see I'm pretty transparent in my content. I don't have anything to hide. Remember, to be successful, it's your right, duty, and responsibility.